If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today's August 19th, 2020, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, it's Amazon, NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all breaking to new record highs. And this is happening, like I've mentioned several times before, in the middle of a pandemic. But first, let's take a look at the various markets. So we don't have any major economic events scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, we're watching the euro and the British pound continue to push upwards. Now, they're coming close to our next resistance-ish level. We're going to take a look at that. And looking at the indices, the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 conquer new record highs, as we've spoken about before. And looking at the commodities, pretty much tapering off after gold has a bounce after its V formation, upside down V formation. Oil pretty much unchanged. And lastly, looking at Amazon, breaking resistance at $3,000. But first, let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to first take a look at the Euro USD at a weekly chart. And you can see that this has been propelling higher to this 119.43-ish level. Now, the next real resistance-ish level is this 120-ish level. Okay, that's really, a round-up number. And we've gone so far over just a month and a half that this is just unprecedented. Okay, to give you just a perspective of it, we've got to look at a monthly chart just to see that. I mean, for what took us between January of 2018 to go down to January of 2020, we've now made back that real estate in less than 2 months. So volatility coming back to the currencies. Now, this is all on the back of everything happening, the stimulus packages, the interest rate decisions, the inflationary concerns, and all that stuff that is going on in the backdrop of the markets. Now, looking at the GBP USD, also breaking out higher. Now, this had a bit of a resistance-ish level at 132-ish level. We're plowing above it. Now, the real next major resistance-ish level is this 132.40-ish level, 134.40 ish level, as we close in that gap. Now, jumping into commodities, looking at gold, we taper off from that 2000 level to 1991, and we're bouncing off of this 14-day moving average, but this could still play a little bit of a retracement as it's finding new grounding. Okay, now this is all on the back of the fact that there's a lot of indecision as to which way the markets are going to be going. However, there's no indecision when it comes to the NASDAQ, because when we look at that right now, it broke above this 11,285. Now, I mentioned this yesterday as it did look to break it. And once it does break it, we could go to the 11,500-ish level as this continues to plow higher. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, didn't push it higher at 27,730. It may play catch up, so we'll look for that later today. But the real catalyst here is Amazon. Look at that massive breakout at 3,200 up to 3,300. Now, this is close to its all-time highs. It did make this wedge formation as it's this ascending wedge formation. Higher high, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and then finally breaking that out. Okay, now we did mention this earlier that it looked to break this out on the upside, so that this did frustrate. Now, looking at a weekly chart, it's got to continue pushing higher, okay, because we did hit 33.32-ish level, which is only $30 away, but it does need to make that confirmation actually happen. So let's see if that actually frustrates later today. Now, as mentioned, the S&P 500 did make new highs, which doesn't all reflect all the Dow Jones components, but just that you know, if we look at some of the other major stocks like Apple, it's on its highs. Okay, let's just jump to Apple. There we go, 460. Okay, so it's really trading at its dead highs, and I do expect it to push a little bit further later today. If it doesn't, we may see a correctional move. Now, when we look at the old school stocks or some of the other stocks, they're not breaking out higher. Look at JP Morgan further down. Yesterday we were trading at $99, today at $98. So there's a little bit of discrepancy with the markets right now as to the future of what's going to actually happen, both because of the pandemic and as we go into the voting booths for the President of the United States going in November. So between now and then, I do expect some choppiness, some volatility to increase. But as you're looking at the markets, Forex markets are back in major play. So not just the indices and the stocks are in play, but also the Forex markets are in play as well, giving us multiple opportunities throughout the day. So just be aware of that. And we may see a little bit of a lower volume today as we go until Friday, because we're still in summer months and still summer trading. So take that into consideration. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day.